Hey folks, Crimson Blaze here, and welcome to the Sangre De Cristo Mountains. I'm here with my son on a 3-day, 2-night backpacking trip, and this is my first experience with the Sangre De Cristo Mountains, and they are beautiful. You know, driving in from the east and coming through West Cliff. Man, it was such a beautiful mountain range, and it got me excited to start this trip. And really, this is my first trip into the Colorado mountains this year. It's kind of mid to late July, so the passes are generally free from snow, but my body, I think, is trying to readjust to climbing up these passes at such high elevation. But man, I love it. It is so beautiful out here. Whew. 3 miles in, a little over 2,100 feet of elevation gain. But it looks like it's leveling out here a little bit. So, but I think with only about a mile left to go to the lake, I think most of the climbing is done. After mile 3, it really opens up. You're still climbing a little bit. I think we have to climb maybe 200-300 more feet, but the views are open. You can see back into the valley. You can see some of the peaks in front of us where I think we're going to be camping tonight. Wildflowers that are everywhere, so it is beautiful out here. We have finally made it to Comanche Lake. I think the campsite that I was thinking about looks like it's free. Oh yeah, we can hang a couple of hammocks in here. Real easy. So this was the site that I was most worried about because there aren't a lot of good established trees like this, like in this campsite that I've seen. As we were coming in, there was a spot by that waterfall we probably could have made work, because again, I don't need flat ground sleeping in a hammock. But this, you know, this is perfect. Camp is now set up. Got the Dutch Banya bridge hammock with the new war bonnet tarp. Nate over here's got his Hennessy hammock with the a good old Dyneema tarp, the last one I got left. But it's a nice little camp spot. Camp also has a nice little trail to the water, which is awesome. This is it's a beautiful spot. Now that we've made it to Comanche Lake and have our camp all set up, I thought I'd give you a little bit more details about this trip. Like I said, Nate and I are going to be out here for 3 days and 2 nights. We're in the Sangre De Cristo Mountains, and we're doing the Rito Alto 4-pass loop, at least a modified version of it. The original loop goes by Venable Lake, not Comanche Lake. So that's why I say it's kind of a modified version. I don't think I'm adding too many miles. I'd have to go back and check what the original loop is. We may be only adding a couple miles, but I really wanted to include the Phantom Terrace as part of this 4-pass loop. So that's what we're doing. So for day 1, we just hiked in 4 miles up here to Comanche Lake. Tomorrow will be our bigger day. So tomorrow we're going to hike maybe 13, maybe 14 miles. But most of that is going to be above tree line. So when you hike over these 4 passes, you know, it's going to be within like 8 or 10 miles. So I think we have about maybe a mile and a half, and then we start climbing up the Phantom Terrace to the first pass. And then we'll be up there for maybe, again, 8, maybe 9 miles exposed. And then we'll start heading down. Heading down Hermit Pass and down to Hermit Lake. And then day 3, I think we just have 6, maybe 7 miles. It's all downhill, kind of a dirt 4x4 road, maybe a little bit of single track until we get back to the Venable and Comanche Trailhead. So all in all, it's about a 24-mile loop. Yeah, it's been a beautiful day so far. Love our campsite on the lake, and really looking forward to this trip. So Nate's decided to go for a little dip. So he wants to do a little plunge. I'm wearing a puffy, so
might be able to get all the way under right here.
He's gonna be cold.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
That's refreshing. Well, like typical Colorado weather, there's an afternoon thunderstorm that rolls through the mountains. I mean, it was beautiful blue skies, sunshine. It was a bit windy, and then wham! It just seems like it came in a hurry. So Nate and I are just tucked into our hammocks, and me, I guess this gives me a chance to test out my new War Bonnet Thunderfly. Hasn't really been rained on yet, and it's not raining too hard right now. It's sprinkling, and actually I can start seeing a little bit of sunshine. So that's good. Well, the storm has finally passed. It's not raining anymore. Looks like the sun is trying to get out, but it's still a bit windy out here, which is not the most pleasant for eating conditions by the lake. But yeah, we're probably in our hammocks for a couple hours. It's around 6 o'clock now. And it's just been so windy, a lot of gusts of wind. And with the overcast skies, the temperature's dropped probably to about mid 50, according to my Govee Bluetooth thermometer. And so yeah, we just hunker down in our hammock. But man, still a beautiful, beautiful setting here out at Comanche Lake. Love how the sun is setting on the rock. Well, that's gonna do it for day 1. I just finished dinner, had a wonderful rambam with some grilled chicken. And Nate hasn't even left his hammock. He's been in there all day, so he's probably passed out for the rest of the evening. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna call it, a day. It's only 7:30, but that wind, as you can probably hear, is still kicking. It's not letting up any. It is beautiful though. Comanche Lake with the peak in the background, that's still pretty stunning. But I'm just ready to get into my hammock. I've already hung my bear bag with all my scented items, so I'm ready just to crawl into some of my quilted down and just watch a couple shows and go to sleep early. But we have a beautiful hike tomorrow. We've got the Phantom Terrace, we have the 4 passes, and I just hope it's going to be some good weather. All right, folks, I will see you in the morning. Morning, folks. It is day 2 and we are back on the trail. Not quite 6 a.m. but 6:15, 6:20. I just, takes me longer to get ready at camp. I've always realized that, but still windy this morning, but I think that wind's going to feel good as we're climbing up our first pass today. And yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day. I think we have the Phantom Terrace first, so looking forward to that. See you on the climb. So we are now on the other side of that ridge, and we are in the shade of the mountain. So temperature drop probably felt like 15 degrees or so. So we put back on the puffies, and now we're heading on the Phantom Terrace trail. And man, it is beautiful. Stunning mountains. They have see the valley below. There's wildflowers everywhere. This is truly beautiful. So if you're doing the Rito Alto 4-pass loop, you wouldn't see these views. And for me, I'm glad I did it, because some of these views right here, that's pretty amazing. And the wildflowers that are on this side, I definitely think it's worth the 2, maybe 3 extra miles that it puts on the loop. But we're gonna hook around the corner of this mountain, hopefully get into a little sun, and maybe have some second breakfast. Wow. Because that right down there is the beginning of Venable Lakes. And the original loop comes up that and just starts going that way. So we'll hook up with the Venable Trail right over there and get going. Last push of Venable Lake Pass. Oh yeah. Oh, there's nothing like reaching the top of a pass. We're a little bit above 12.7. There's the trail down there. Then I'm assuming we're gonna cut up around there and then head back over there. All right, let's keep on going. Pass number 2. We're at about 12,500 feet. Whew! It is well worth the climb. So for this next section, looks like we're going to switch back down a little bit, and then I can see a trail down over there that begins to climb. And then I believe that right over there is Eureka Pass. Pass number 3, and it's coming in at a little over 12,200. It does not disappoint. Oh yeah. All right, 3 passes down. 1 more to go, the big one, Hermit Pass. I know it's above 13,000, and it looks like we're dropping straight down. Whoa. As you can see, there's switchbacks that are going to take you all the way down to the bottom, only to have to crawl right back up. I think that is Hermit Peak, and we've seen people on those switchbacks up there, and then that right there is probably Hermit Pass. Looks manageable. It's still going to be a big climb, but it's our last one for the day, and after that we probably have around 3 miles to hike down to Hermit Lake, and even Crimson Blaze may jump to the lake after today. Here we are, 4th and final pass, Hermit Pass, a little over 13,000 feet. Whew. That was probably actually the easiest pass, even though it was the steepest climb. I'll tell you, switchbacks, good switchbacks, make all the difference in the world. But yeah, here's the view from the other side. So yeah, we're off to the single track trail, and now this is an old 4x4 road. I think a lot of people go take their Jeeps on. So it should be a good grade down, nothing too steep. I think we follow this old dirt road down to our campsite. All right, we have finally arrived at the little turnoff for Hermit Lake. Like I thought, you can park here. I thought people might be driving up here to camp. It's like only a couple cars, so hopefully it's not too packed. But we finally get back to single track, and I think it's only a quarter of a mile down to the lake. But whew, this old man is beat up. Let's get to the lake, set up camp. All right, folks, camp is set up. We got a nice little spot down here by the lake. Nate's about to prepare dinner. That's where he is set up over there. But a beautiful, beautiful spot by the lake. And I think this is probably going to be it for today. You know, I'm going to get some shots of the lake when the sunset, but I think we're just going to eat dinner, probably go to bed early. It's been 13 miles, and we're about ready to crash out. But we got all clean clothes on, we're wiped off, all good to go. So we feel like new men out here. But let me show you the lake. It is just stunning. Look at that. Look at the color of that water. It's beautiful. But man, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Anyway, I will see you in the moment. Morning, folks. It is day 3 and I am still at camp. I decided to get up early this morning and try a little fly fishing with my Tenkara rod. The original plan was for Nate and I to do some fishing yesterday when we got done with our hike, but that hike just beat us up yesterday. So when we got into camp, we just had dinner and then, we crashed out probably around 7 o'clock. But I had a great night's sleep. I feel really good this morning. And since we don't have a lot of miles to hike today, only about 7.5, I thought I would do some fishing this morning, or at least give it a try. Unfortunately, no luck with the Tenkara rod this morning. I like to fish. I'm just not a very good fisherman. But, I like the relaxing nature of it and just sitting and listening to the water and being on the lake. I just think that's awesome. So I'll bring my Tenkara rod with me from time to time on my backpacking trips. But it is getting later on in the morning. I need to go wake Nate up, get some breakfast going, pack up camp, and hit the trail. All right, folks, camp is packed up. And we are back on the trail, at least the quarter-mile trail that leads down to Hermit Lake. Pretty little trail with all the, the purple and gold wildflowers. It's really nice, but like I said, it's probably only a quarter of a mile back into the main trail, and we'll get going. We're back on the dirt road now, and I think we're going to be on this for a few miles. I'm not sure exactly how long we stay on this, but sooner or later it's going to connect back up with a single track trail that'll take us down to the Venable Comanche Trailhead. But it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, blue skies, no clouds, but Hermit Lake was beautiful. That was probably my favorite lake on this trip, just with the colored water, all of the mountains surrounding it, all the trees that you had for hammock camping. It was beautiful. I really did enjoy that. But right now we're trying to get back to the truck as quick as we can so we can get some pizza for lunch. We have finally made it to the intersection where we get off the dirt road and start following single track. And that was about 3 miles to get to this point from Hermit Lake. And now we're going to follow the Rainbow Trail all the way to our truck. Well, it is nice to be off that dirt road, back onto single track, following along the creek a little bit. Beautiful aspens in here. This is nice. This is hiking again. So we have about 4.5 miles left to the truck. So hopefully it'll be like this the rest of the way. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I'm almost to the trailhead to get to my truck. But this has been just an absolute wonderful backpacking trip. My first experience in the Sangre De Cristo Mountains, and man, what a beautiful mountain range. Coming over those passes, seeing the mountains and the rocks and the valleys, it was just special. And I'm glad that we included the Phantom Terrace as part of this loop. It did add a few extra miles, and it added another pass. But man, I just thought Comanche Lake was pretty, and then coming over Comanche Pass, that mountain range back there, that was stunning. So I thought it was well worth hiking down the Phantom Terrace and including that Comanche Pass. But it is a hard hike, I ain't gonna lie. That was probably one of the hardest hikes I've done. Probably top 5, but man, was it worth it. So I definitely highly recommend doing this as a backpacking trip. All right, folks, until my next adventure, thanks for watching. Keep on blazing. All right. Back at the truck. Always good to see the truck at the end of the hike.